or be willing to help Jackie out if he does go on the run. And honestly, the list would be smaller of people who wouldn't be willing to help him. Like the amount of like cops that are no longer hired that are like criminals that are out on the streets, you know what I mean? Now that are like that have changed their way. Like when you really put your mind and think about it, like Emma DuPont's out there, she's not a criminal. Copper Svensson was tweeting today. Svensson's around. He's in town. Like there's so many people, like Ziggy, Flop, Jenny. Yeah. Obviously, Jenny had a relationship with Michael Simone.
Actually, a very fucking concerning list.
Obviously, Suarez. You brought up Lucas Lavender, which is someone I didn't even think about.
Oh, Lovesick.
Oh yeah, Lovesick, not Lavender. And you know, I hate to say it, but I'm always going to be the one to point it out. But if anyone's going to be someone to pull it out of people, for the people that are left in PD, they might still have loyalty to Snow. And if Snow asks them of some, you know, for something, they might do it. It's not nice to think about. But if he was on the run and he needed something, there might still be people in PD that would do that. I don't know who.
Get one as well. Same type of car, but maroon color.
You're not wrong.
They just the driver of this car claimed they don't know who was in that car.
So what's best course of action here?
I don't know, because right now it's up in the air with the LSPD pushing charges. I wouldn't be surprised if you get a phone call from him. I'll be honest.
Right.
I really would.
Another right into the parking garage.
Well, I haven't gotten a text. Say that much.
Yeah.
We're gonna end up on power standby, left northbound
this
power,
is
left westbound integrity.
No, I'm in the same boat. Everybody else, I said this to a colleague of mine. Everybody else that has come and gone from PD and fallen from grace, if you will, you know, I've come to terms with. As much as I hate it, I've come to terms with it. But then, when it comes to Jackie, like if you think about it, like, hello, ma'am.
Doing all right.
Too bad.
Oh, gotta go.
Too heavy. You gotta be precise with that.
When it comes to Jackie, it's like that guy's falling from the top, like the tippity top. You know what I mean? Like everybody else is just falling from like halfway or like 10% of the way.
You have the most to lose, the most to be upset about.
Jack. And I told you, I tried to reason with him. I called out Elizabeth Remington, you know, an ex-cop that Hydra murdered. Wasn't the charges were never filed properly. I called out James Rooker, again, another cop that this PD hasn't been able to charge for, that Hydra murdered. I called out John Doe, someone who Jackie's he was at his funeral. That Hydra was charged for his murder. And he basically said he didn't care. He said that Remington deserved it. He said that Rooker probably deserved it. And he deflected on John Doe.
I mean, in those situations, right? Like, if he's trying to do nothing but either guilt trip or get you to, like, understand that he doesn't care. Regardless of whether or not he does, he's just going to say the most hurtful things to try to provoke a response from you.
Multiple vehicles in the area.
Continuing west out.
Even so,
Street, stand by.
does that sound like the Jackie we used to know?
There. Southbound.
Not my honest answer?
Left eastbound as well.
680 secondary,
Sorry.
heading east on
Yeah.
Anderson's, passing the car wash.
Let's not forget, he
Five
led
minutes,
detective
5 seconds.
divisions.
Vanilla unicorn.
He knows how to get information out of people. Don't let him fool you.
Gas station 22, left west through
Those
back towards
SOPs
VU.
that have always been in place, he
Continue
knows
west,
them,
onto
left, right, and center.
Elgin.
He knows the insert whatever fucking 3 or 4 letter detective, you know,
West Adams Apple.
cert department, whatever, of any iteration of the police department. He knows those SOPs inside and out. He knows how to get information out of people. He knows sometimes you need to fucking press buttons to get that information. And regardless of whether or not he agrees with it, now obviously again we're talking about a very different Jackie, but if he wants a piece of information, if he's fishing for something, he's gonna tell you he enjoys doing things that he absolutely fucking despises,
West through the CMC car park.
so that
Exit out to
you
Crusade.
can slip up, so that
Left
you
south
can give
Crusade.
more information, so
Right
that
west
you expose your playbook,
Right north
so
Strawberry.
he knows what you're
Crossing
trying
over.
to target.
Oh, slight headache. Continuing north on Strawberry.
Don't underestimate Jackie. May not be the same Jackie that we knew before, or it could be the exact same one putting up a front.
Crossing over Vespucci 22. left west
Regardless,
Vespucci.
incredibly dangerous.
Right north Elgin.
Yeah,
Right east.
you're
San
not
Andreas.
wrong. But the sad thing is,
Crossing over Strawberry. Continuing east San Andreas.
there was no
heading over the
playbook
bridge.
to read me for, and there was no plan. There was nothing to dig for because I didn't know anything.
Continue east on San
And
Andreas.
But
I
how,
think that
he wouldn't know that
Maybe-
though.
What is this? Do we have any other 10-8 units? There's a 90 Alpha Fleeca robbery. We need
I
to
guess
grab
I
the
was a
hostage
fool
on
to
that
think he
Alpha.
might
We
have
gotta
given me a
break off that.
chance.
We gotta break.
You know?
606, I can break off. Y'all still on it?
Unless you have enough 10-8s, you can move it. It's up to you guys.
Hmm.
The two of us can stick on this. Dewey, you can.
For old
go ahead and grab
time's
that
sake.
hostage.
Yeah, hey,
But
606, 76, 90 Alpha.
So you continuing west on Popular Street.
I mean,
We're gonna have to move that off
this is
the
all
channel
still
if we're
very
gonna be at the
fucking
Fleeca.
concerning.
You guys go ahead to
I
channel two.
just, this is not what I expected to wake up to. That's for damn sure.
no, me neither. The other day, anyway. Well, I'm glad you know, and you don't have to find it another way.
Vince Payne practicing a bike jump. You see that?
Where? What?
Oh my god. He was on a motorcycle. And he right above us.
Dispatch 23820.
He went over that barrier and landed right here.
There is a hostage in the
Damn.
blue car parked out front.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to distract from
Yeah, I-
everything.
Well, listen, just
Besides Dewey, how many more
Just
units do
keep
we
your
have
guard
around
up.
the Fleeca?
with snow
you know what
and
they're chasing
I don't,
on the
I
other
don't.
channel?
Just be careful,
Just a white
'cause,
box
you know,
truck.
All
just
right.
take your own advice,
Oh,
I
the
guess.
Group 6 robbery?
What you just told me is,
Nah, I don't think it's a grab
I know
box,
you don't know
it's
anything,
like a
so
white van.
so you shouldn't
Oh,
have
and it's stemmed
worried
from?
too much. But
It was a boost, I believe.
Well, I don't actually know that now
60623.
because you brought up some potentials that I didn't consider. Like never would I have expected Etta to be targeted or anything like that, but you know, you put that up against with you know, Flop and Ziggy and countless other people, truthfully. And suddenly they could all be in his ear.
yeah, there's 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 a lot of things going on that we don't know about. But
So does he have a warrant out? Because I didn't see it on his profile.
he doesn't have a warrant. I don't know why, but yeah, I don't know why.
Where do you want me to
Well,
drop you off?
marshal office would be great. I'll leave you to your patrol stuff.
If you get a text from me that says, "Don't worry," then definitely be concerned.
I'd be concerned if you text me, period, because you never text.
You know what? That's valid, honey.
Yeah.
Yep. But if I call you, make sure you're asking, how are you doing? Again, if I say, yeah, don't worry, I'm doing good, I need you to know something's up. But that motherfucker is still practicing his motorcycle. Oh my god.
Don't forget to ring Bill Mays, all right?
I will.
Tell him to shove it. All right. Well, you take it easy. I'll speak to you tomorrow or something, all right?
You too. Love you.
Sorry for bad news.
5 minutes.
You're good.
Pursuit order. All right, pursuit order is going to be primary. Let's see, whoever's in the Taurus. Oh, me, 606. Secondary, the cute pink slow car. And tertiary will get one of the CBPIs that's on the way. Freak. All right, get your ass over here, kid.
Yeah, I'm a free one, yeah, it's a call.
And then we'll get that other CBPI to jump in and then be parallel afterwards. Peter, status check.
Peter's fell down.
You see that he fell off?
He's unconscious.
It's okay.
Nine to 76, list 13 alpha.
We're with the Alpha.
If we could have the CBPI that just pulled up, you're going to take hostages. The one that's over on the northern side of the building, you're going to hop in tertiary, and the one who takes hostages, go ahead and hop in parallel once you get done with the hostages.
Let's just go to the tuner shop, actually. I need tires.
Radio check.
Me too.
Dispatch 06, show me 1041. Back to 10-8. Nah.
I think we're just gonna take a pursuit unit car. I lied. We're out of shift.
PD from EMS.
Go for PD.
What's the status on Peters?
He's good.
Do you need EMS?
Negative. Is that you, Parker?
Oh yeah, I'm just down the road. I passed you guys.
Yeah, Parker, can you come up? Fucked up. Will you look me over? Make sure I'm fit.
Yeah, copy that. I'll do that. Right. Charlie 323.
Hey.
Hello.
Oh my God. Rhodes.
What?
It's me, Daniel Kane, Super Cop.
Super Cop?
Yeah. I mean, it's been 7 years or 6 years or a lot of years. I'm supposed to be hired, and it's been like a month since someone called me, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
Well, why are you committing crime?
Oh, what do you mean committing crime? Oh.
No, that's a fashion crime.
Ah! Oh. I thought you were going to say trespass. Listen, okay, this is... I have $400 to my name, okay? Crystal paid my way in. I just need to talk to someone.
I should be advised.
What
the one
department?
in the all-black tracksuit just claimed that this is his
LSPD.
car.
Oh.
So the returning owner is the guy.
Why?
Full
What?
black
We're not all
tracksuit.
united. Man.
The owner of the car.
No. So, okay, let me explain. In Shift 3 specifically across both departments operates as a UPD essentially. However, Shift 1 and 2 do not. So their PNT is
Who you want primary
separate
target in the bank? Who
and stuff like that. So you are gonna have to wait for someone.
So here I'll just level with you. Here's what's happened. I literally have been talking with Avery, and like I've basically been everything but onboarded at this point. I went through all the processes and everything, and then Avery sent me an email yesterday saying that she stepped down and that I needed to wake up and speak to Peters. So that's what I'm trying to
Peters is
accomplish
around.
this morning. Okay. I just need to eventually get a hold of him. So he gave me a phone, but it doesn't have his phone number. It does have some very interesting pictures in it, however. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah. So that's just all that I'm trying to.
Do you need Peter's number?
Oh my lord, yes.
Let me give him a call. Let me give him a.
Yeah, just tell him that Daniel Kane or DK is standing there.
All right. Yeah.
Report is up for this incident as well.
All right, just a moment.
Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Hey, Peters, it's Rhodes. How you doing?
Hey, Rhodes, what's going on, boss?
I'm good. Hey, so I don't like giving people's phone numbers out without, prior permission, but I have a Daniel Kane at Mission Row, who has been, from my understanding, looking to get onboarded, and Avery informed him that she stepped down, and that he needs to reach out to you. That's the instruction he was given. Do I give him your phone number? What would you like me to do?
No, yeah, you give me my phone number.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
Are you ready to be my undersheriff?
What do you? No, I'm not being anybody's undersheriff. Nobody's.
Okay, you're gonna be the captain. All right.
I'm not. No, I'm not doing any. No.
I got Nikki. Yep. I got Nick. Have you met Nikki Hale yet?
I'm not doing anything.
Have you met? Sorry, not Nikki Hale. Stevie Hale. Have you met Stevie Hale yet?
No, and even if I did, the answer's still no.
Okay. Well, I am running for sheriff. Okay. So
okay.
You will be my shadow undersheriff. Okay.
No,
otherwise you could go back to the LSPD. All right. Thank you, Shadow Sheriff Underroads.
What the fuck you just say?
Shadow Sheriff Underroads.
No, you said or go back to the LSPD.
Yeah.
No.
You could be a part of Ninos, aka Nino's street team. Okay. We're gonna beat down the LSPD any opportunity we get.
I genuinely can't tell if you're joking.
About what?
Any of what you just said.
Well,
I don't even know if I can give Mr. Kane your phone number at this point.
Okay, well, you could. I gotta look. He might have been onboarded. Let me double check.
From my understanding, everything has happened except his onboarding. And he said it's been like a month.
I am going to look at the. I'm gonna look at it right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna check. I'm gonna check the logs and see if I need to. But yeah, you can have him call me. You can have
All right, we'll do. I'll do that now. All right, have a good one. Bye.
Okay, see you later, Undersheriff. Shadow Roads.
Okay. So let me give you his number. Let me know when you're ready.
Okay, one second. I gotta work these new fangled phones. Okay.
420 156 4295. 420 156 4295.
I appreciate it, sir.
No problem.
So how have you been since everything? Are you doing good?
Wonderful.
It's your.
Wonderful. It's great.
I
love my job.
Is that wheat?
Yeah, it is. Standard issue in BCSO.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It honestly, it's to curb like. Listen, we can't really have fidget spinners. You know, it doesn't really look professional. Yeah, okay. And I got to be doing something, whether that be tapping my foot, chewing on something. You know. So here we are.
Listen, that makes sense. Well, sir, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it.
Not a problem. No problemo. You might want to give him a call soon, by the way.
Oh,
because otherwise he'll get derailed and caught up in other stuff, and then you'll never be onboarded.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to be onboarded at this very moment anyways, because I just literally woke up to try and get a hold of him for like 5 minutes.
Get a hold of him ASAP, right now. Do it.
Okay.
Get it done and over with.
Now
I need to make another phone call to someone completely unrelated.
Oh, okay. Well, stay safe out there, sir, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And again, I thank you for taking your time for me.
I hope I have a wonderful day too. I hope you do as well. Have a good one,
sir.
You want me to go ahead and go to the other side?
Hello, you Rich Bill Mays.
Bill, it's Rhodes. How you been?
Not too bad. Can you come up to PBSO?
Polito?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
We're working the mayor's office out of here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I can be there in a few minutes. Hopefully there's no like priority calls or anything.
Pretty busy day. We got a great opportunity for you.
I mean, I'll hear you out, but I will say I'm, you know, I saw some of the 311s. If it is about a position in the mayor's office, I don't quite know about that.
Well, I mean, we need the sheriff. I'll be blunt with you.
There's no way. Listen, I'll have the conversation with you, Polito. I'm on the way.
Come on up. Okay.
All right. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Rhodes doesn't even want to be a fucking senior. Let that sink in.
Hey, Rhodes, will you park over there since people like that's
Yeah,
two spots people
yeah.
pull cars from? Thank you.
Or just put it in the garage for right now.
Gonna be real, I forgot the damn garage was there.
Make this look good.
It's fine. Everyone does.
I didn't even fucking know that it was there. So.
Huh?
All
old
right.
Memories? Old memories?
I mean, yeah.
Look how great this place is. It's
Yeah,
kind of.
is it? Okay.
I mean, Nino runs it right now, but
They still have all these doors locked up?
yeah,
Of course they
yeah.
do.
But
What about this one?
It's all.
Shit.
but I mean, yeah, that's just until we get control of it back from Nino in the city. so,
Right. Okay. All right. Let me go
Yeah.
ahead and take a seat here.
yeah. So, hey, do you have your ID on you?
Do I have what?
Your ID?
I do.
I mean, it's just been so long. Okay, just
Yep, there you are.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. That's the information we need for the application. Write his name down.
Application for what?
Sheriff.
I don't want to be the sheriff.
Why not? You
Bill,
would be good at it.
Bill, things have changed, bud. Things have changed.
Okay. Well,
What's changed, Rhodes,
Yeah.
realistically?
Everything.
What do you mean everything?
Everything. There's not an aspect of this job that hasn't changed.
Okay, but I mean, is it changed for the better? Is it changed for the worse?
The worst.
Be specific, Rhodes.
Be specific. How many years you got?
I mean, we just cut their pay to $700 an hour.
I've got a lot.
Huh?
Well, I understand that.
My pay got cut.
Yeah.
$700 an hour.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Do you
One
wanna know
moment. Why?
Well, actually, tell as many officers as you want to come up here, and I'll everyone the spiel.
I'm gonna be real. They're all responding to other calls right now. So I don't.
You can relay this. So
Okay.
No, that's good. You can have your break, Rhodes.
Look
That's all right.
up. There's a report on Kyle Pred pushed by Bruce. That was a
Okay.
warrant. Someone said Pred did something on the highway, so he issued an arrest warrant and arrested him during his inauguration.
Okay.
Was there any fucking evidence?
No, it's literally one person who said
Just
I got
the
coerced
supposed
into
victim?
giving a statement.
No corroborating evidence, no corroborating witness testimony. Sorry,
No.
I'm thinking out loud.
No.
Was Pred arrested?
Oh yeah, they issued a warrant and arrested him while he was getting his keys.
Oh.
And they decided to dap the officer and let the sergeant off.
Okay.
So,
but why an entire
mad.
department get shafted as a result?
Because he's going to evaluate all of you through this and then adjust your pay according to how the job is done.
Okay.
So overall performance is going to dictate pay.
Okay, but what metrics are being used to evaluate performance here?
Arrests made in Blaine County, Toledo, how much actual policing is done here, how much revenues brought in, how many good arrests there are, how few lawsuits there are, and appeals.
And how many complaints?
That too, that's a big one.
Okay,
legitimate complaints.
Thank you. I was going to say, just complaints, that's problematic. But okay.
So here's devil's advocate. I had a meeting with sheriff yesterday, and what's his name, Jimbo or something, with Pred. And,
Jimbo Sutton.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And we had the talk. We go, okay, why are these officers only being dapped? If a lawyer comes into the cells and calls one of your officers an idiot as banter back and forth, you're out for his job. You're getting him disbarred. Boom, gone. Thank you very much. So why something like
I don't know
this?
that. Well, I don't know that that's true.
Ajax, you want to tell him what happened?
Okay. One, I wasn't in the cells and I didn't call anyone a fucking idiot. Okay. I was
It's
outside.
an example.
I'm just saying.
After a cell rep.
Yeah. After a cell rep, I went outside to ask the 5 officers involved, deputies, whatever the fuck you guys are wanting to call yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
A follow-up question. And they were saying something about, the client had been being disrespectful to them and said some things. And I just made the comment that, hey, you guys are officers. You guys deal with these people on a daily basis. You may want to get thicker skin because you're going to encounter it. And one of the guys, Quangle, decided to open his mouth and start making disrespectful comments about myself and my appearance and what I needed to do, etc. And I made a comment back to him that, maybe he needed to have better parents. That way we wouldn't have to deal with his bullshit right now.
Okay.
And then one of the other officers was outright just trying to, kind of act like he had a big swinging dick and, telling me that I'm dismissed and I can go and bus stops that way and all the other shit, right in front of a fucking sergeant that didn't do fuck all to prevent or curtail their behavior in any way, shape, or form. But immediately after that, they went and filed a fucking complaint to the judges because of the singular comment that I made to Quangle and got my bar license revoked.
Your bar license was revoked on that basis alone?
Yeah.
Less than 8 hours. Quicker than I've ever lost my bar license.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Unless there was some... Oh, hold on. One moment. Hello, this Rhodes.
Hello, Rhodes. It's Nakota.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good. Are you available to 25 with me really quick at BCSO, or are you busy?
A little busy right now. I
Okay.
can give you a call back though.
Yeah, no worries. I'll be around. So
Okay,
whenever
perfect.
you're free.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Bye. Okay, so unless there is a matter of like urgent concern in which you like, the only time I would find that to be reasonable is in the event where you like actively threaten somebody's life and like you should not be in the cells of Mission Row. Like you're a danger to yourself or others. Like at that point, I would understand as a temporary means of trying to, ensure everyone is safe, like revoking your bar license. Do I think the revoking is appropriate overall? I mean, I wasn't there, right? Like, I don't know exactly what was said, and obviously I'm getting a one-sided story, and that's not to say I don't believe you. It's just, it's hard to make that determination without having been there, right?
No,
but like,
I understand that.
He'd be a great sheriff.
But like, I think the important thing is like, outside of there being circumstances that require your bar license to be, revoked in an expedited manner, like, I don't even think that was appropriate at all.
No, I mean...
Hold on,
I've been a lawyer in this goddamn state for fucking ever. Okay, I've never had my bar license revoked. I've, after all the shit that's happened over the years, to get it revoked for a fucking retaliatory comment, essentially just fucking defending myself from a fucking gaggle of fucking sheriffs that wanted to be assholes. That's kind of bullshit. Especially when I wasn't even in the fucking. We were outside of the BCSO office, literally outside in the fucking parking lot.
Damn. Have you spoken with the judge?
I talked with Grayson. I demanded a bar review, and Grayson essentially said it's not his call. It was made by the justices,
It's an at-will state,
and essentially saying without saying to get fucked.
Huh.
Because
here's the other thing.
It's up to Angel, and she doesn't care for me to begin with.
Yeah. Here's the other thing. We have officer witnesses to Bruce saying, I can't wait until you're out of office, Pred. This is going to be so funny. I fucking hate your guts. And this officer just gets tapped for pushing a bullshit warrant.
Okay, to be clear, I don't think that person should be fired. But I also don't think you should have been fired either. Like, I want to make that very clear. I don't think in either case a firing or any sort of like, it obviously there's some sort of like, you know, inequality here on the basis that you got fired and then the officer who did something similar based on what you're saying only got a slap on the wrist. Yeah, that's fucked up. I agree. It's not fair. But I don't know. That's fucked. That is absolutely fucked.
Well, yeah, again, these are two separate situations,
right?
But
I mean, still.
But yeah, it doesn't look good on the sheriff's office.
I can agree with that. Yeah. To be clear, based upon the information that I've been told, yeah, I agree.
I mean, again, you've known me for a long time, Rhodes. I've worked against you quite a bit, but I'm always a straight shooter when it comes to that shit. So, you can go ask fucking who was there. Ventura was the sergeant that was there. Bates was running his mouth, and Quengle was the primary that was running his mouth.
Bates.
And then
Ventura, Bates, and Quengle. All right. Unfortunately, I don't run into these officers very often. I mean, hell, I'm typically not even around necessarily during this time. Ventura, I catch typically the tail end of my shift for 30 minutes, maybe an hour.
Or no, I take that back. Not Bates. Cade.
Cade? Okay.
Sorry, I'm still trying to figure out everybody's fucking names. But yeah, I think it was Cade was the other one. It was either him or fucking Napoli. I don't know. Like I said, I don't exactly know the other two. I know which one's Quengle. I know which one was Ventura. But the other two, I don't fucking know. I've never met them before. And then Mustard was there as well.
So Ventura, Cade, Quengle, Mustard.
And yeah, Ventura, Cade, Quengle, Mustard. I said one more.
It's so strange. And it was Quengle that took offense to what you said?
Quengle's the one that initially caused the fucking offense.
Huh.
And I would assume that, yeah, he probably took offense to what I said. 'Cause, I mean, I told him, it's like, dude, he started running off at the mouth like he did, being disrespectful. I said, maybe you should have had better parents, or at least one of them should have worn some protection. We wouldn't have to deal with your bullshit right now.
Makes me question whether or not, when it was explained to the judges, whether or not they, indicated that this was done like in a professional setting, like.
I'm sure it was said that. I'm sure they tried to say that we were either in the cells or whatnot. Or
wait, hold on, Bill, are you good?
Yeah, no.
Okay, all right. I was just making sure, because your mouth was moving, but you ain't said anything in a while, and I just wanted to make sure you weren't trying to talk.
Twitch, okay?
It's all right. No, I just wanted to make sure.
Right to dignity, Rhodes. Come on.
I know.
Rhodes, he quit smoking. He quit doing everything. So he's having problems right now.
All right. So then, as someone I value the opinion of, And Pred values the opinion of. What do officers in shift 3 need?
So specifically in shift 3, okay, number one, I'm not exactly the best person to be asking because I haven't been around all that much. I'm not gonna lie. There have been a lot of things that have been fairly demotivating, to where I have not been enjoying my time on duty as of recent.
Can you expand on that?
Yeah. I had a car that is a sedan but turned like an aircraft carrier. And so in pursuits, and I know this sounds like, oh wow, the woe is me, oh my god, you know, but the reality here is somebody in a box truck could probably outturn me, outbrake me, and so pursuits were impossible. And it didn't matter if I was in my CVPI, my Taurus, my Scout. And then then I found out to get stage 2 parts across the board, that would last approximately 30 days. It was going to cost me upwards of $120,000 every 30 days. Okay. And I thought to myself, I don't even have that amount of money now. So I'm sure as hell not going to have it every 30 fucking days. You know what I mean?
That's understandable. Kind of follow-up question on that, Rose. If you were around consistently every 30 days, about how much before your pay was decreased, about how much would you say that you made over the course of that 30 days, roughly?
It's not a lot because they pay their equipment, their food,
I understand.
repairs, everything.
I understand. I'm trying
that would be a range that like varies so heavily. It far too difficult to.
Okay.
Because not only that, there's also this discrepancy in pay where, we pick up our paychecks up here in Polito, but we can also pick up our paychecks down in the city. And those numbers, I don't even believe have been like consistent. I don't know.
I understand what you're saying.
Hold on. The way it works is any hours you put in the county, you claim up here. Any hours you put in the city, you claim down there. So for an accurate day's pay, you'll have to sign out and go to both banks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get that.
Okay.
The thing is,
the numbers get kind of fudged up.
Well, so here's the reality, though. The paycheck. So although you explained it that way, Bill, I don't believe that's how it's actually in effect. And I say that because my paycheck down in the city, where 90% of crime is committed, will be like $5,000, and then I'll pick up my paycheck up here, and it'll be like $32,000. Despite the fact that, again, because, you know, most crime is committed down in the city, that's where most of it is responded to. Most of the hours are logged there, essentially.
So people are being actually transported from there. They're not being brought back up here to be charged and sent off.
Well, so it not necessarily. It depends, but even if that were the case, our pay isn't dependent on how much money we're bringing in, right? Like if something happens down in the city, yes, I am transporting them up to Sandy, and they'll be processed and they'll be billed there. However, that's got nothing to do with the actual pay we receive, like on an hourly basis.
That only affects the pay.
So it's like, I think it's been described a couple different ways regarding how our pay works, but it still doesn't add up because, again, most hours are logged in the city, and if what Bill is saying is true, then that would imply that an overwhelming majority of the paycheck would be down in the city, but it's not. It's still up here.
So I was under the impression that it worked the same as ours does. So I apologize for that, for speaking.
No, you're good. You're good. I mean, the reality here is, right, you know, a lot of people are in new positions now and are still trying to figure out, you know, sort of how everything works. Now, so to be clear, it's not just like, you know, vehicle issues or anything like that. Like, some of the most demotivating shit was like this heavy inconsistency within the police department regarding how the police department or each department was treated. For example, while there is or was, I don't know if it's still in effect, that piece of legislation indicating, you know, you're a sub-authority if you're in the opposing district. That never applied to Shift 3. In fact, the announcement that went out regarding that from Chief Moss stated specifically that it did not apply to Shift 3. And the reason it didn't apply...
Dynamics.
What was that?
You've been in different dynamics for years.
Correct. I mean, oftentimes people say we're on, you know, our own island, but the reality is, historically, Shift 3 has always been incredibly understaffed. We have to make do with what we've got, and all of us there are pretty much like family. Bill, I'm not kidding. There probably isn't a name you would not recognize in Command or High Command in Shift 3. Like, that is the reality. It didn't start that way at all. There wasn't a name you'd be able to remember. But then, to no surprise, everybody who was going to show up every day finally got brought into the police department, was able to climb the ranks. Why? Because they're talented, they're experienced, they know exactly what the fuck to do to make shit work. And guess what? To no surprise, Shift 3 has been a success, and the reality is we all stand by each other. If that SOP went out and started saying shit like y'all have to stay within your own districts or whatever, like, nobody was going to enforce that. Not a single fucking soul. No member of command, no member of high command, because it's fucking stupid, and we can all logically think for ourselves and acknowledge that when something's fucking stupid, you just got to call it out for what it is. The alternative was ain't none of us was going to show up. And then go fuck themselves.
What did you just do?
But the most important thing is that if they were able to make that concession for Shift 3, they sure as hell could have done it for 1 and 2, but opted not to.
Okay, so I don't know if you realize, but I was on Nino's cabinet for quite a long time. Most of the legislation Nino pushed, I wrote. Any time that we mentioned UPD or Andy would mention UPD, the DOJ would shoot it down and say the UPD is not recognized.
I understand that.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean we can't operate as one, though. Like, in the sense of, like, working alongside each other as opposed to looking at the other department as actual opposition. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it could be fun if it was done right.
Yeah, it wasn't. It certainly was not.
I'm not saying that. I'm not.
I think the legislation had. I think it was written with the best of intentions, with the expectations that it would not be taken advantage of, and unfortunately, I think sometimes we can't have nice things because of, you know, people taking advantage of situations like that.
I think people are too stuck in their ways and open to change, and the Constitution was written to try and promote change and something new, and people got offended and pissed off by it.
Yeah, but it's so you're not wrong. But at the same time, you can also see the writing on the wall when, like, we get to a point where everything explicitly has to be written out, right? Like, for example, and I had a conversation not long ago regarding this, but, like, you know, the police department has standard operating procedures, right? As, like, a means of giving officers a way to sort of build a foundation of, like, you know, putting together building blocks, right? And like, building upon a scenario that will get it to fit within SOPs in an overwhelming majority of situations. But the SOPs will not ever accommodate any possible situation that could possibly ever occur. Like, that's the reality. It's not standard.
You gotta think outside the box.
Exactly. Having a rule set, and when I say rule set, I specifically mean, like, you know, legislation for every specific potential thing that could ever come up is also problematic.
Well, it's not feasible either.
Correct. Not only that, I'm telling you right now, and this is going to sound so fucked up, there is not a single officer I could tell you right now that knows every piece of legislation that is currently in effect. Because there's way too fucking much. I should not have to sit there and fucking... It should not take me 2 minutes speed running just the fucking titles of pieces of legislation just to fucking finish the titles and not the actual contents of the legislation.
It'd be nice if there's a functioning search feature.
Well, it'd be nice if the fucking MDT didn't run like shit half the time too.
I was having a conversation with someone earlier. You know what I had to ask them? Where the fuck is the Constitution? Because I scrolled all the way to the bottom and it wasn't there. Apparently, I had to wait 10 seconds to let it load.
Yeah.
Fuck it. It took me like 3 minutes yesterday to get it to load.
But like the point I'm trying to make is that these pieces of legislation, I know that they are submitted. They're on the government website. You know, they can be appealed and stuff like that. But the problem that we encounter is that there are oftentimes so many changes sort of submitted at once. And I would say it's typically shortly after mayors are put in because they want to, you know, push for whatever it was they were campaigning for. But like, I mean, look right now. Like there's 4 San Andreas Medical Authority things that I guarantee 99% of officers are not going to read.
Yeah, no one really cares.
Before we had our SOPs, we had the Constitution on the government website. You know, relevant case law on the government website. Now, it is split into, we have not only the penal code, which consists of a gazillion different charges. We now have like an insane amount of pieces of legislation, some of which only apply in certain districts, which is problematic because, like, you look at the Carmine situation in which Helen is being charged, right? Like, I don't know if that's been to appeal yet, but like, there's nothing indicating you cannot clamp a PD car. It is not exempt in the city because that piece of legislation only applies to Blaine County, right? Like,
I thought I read somewhere.
Yeah, the old clamp legislation did have an amendment made to it where government vehicles were exempt. But the reality is people are going to read that. They're going to be like, oh, okay. Wheel clamp guidelines. Now it's easier that there's only one, but assume that Los Santos County wanted to enforce those differently. There's now going to be 2 separate pieces of legislation defining 2 different things that you have to. It's too much. It's way too fucking much. No, I hate it.
We definitely agree with you on that, which honestly, that's going to be one of the perks of having Nino and Pred in office because they are willing to work together to get legislation passed that would be effective statewide instead of just per county. You know, when before you had Nino in and then you had Andy in, and there was no movement, no traction between the offices because she refused to work with them at all.
Well,
So-
I mean, yeah, we sent letters saying, hey, would you want to help us write Group 6 legislation is a good example. You want to help write this so we can get past state law statewide for their protection. No response. It was brutal. Weed, no response. It just showed up a couple weeks later that she's like, yeah, we're adopting this policy.
Or how about this? I had somebody in custody. This was like a couple months ago, maybe. I had somebody in custody who had a bag of weed, right? And I'm thinking to myself, is weed legal? So I pull up the MDT, I go to charges, and I reference the charge for criminal possession of, hold on, where is it? I think it was third-degree possession of a Class 3 drug.
Yeah.
Right? And then you look at the definition of it. Possesses the third-degree amount of any Schedule 3 drug is listed on the dosage legislation. So what do? I do the logical thing. I reference the dosage legislation. Yep. And do you know what it indicated?
What?
Any amount of weed was illegal. From 1 gram up to whatever, or from 0 to whatever, was third degree, and then second degree, whatever, right? We're all on the same page here. It was illegal.
We passed the new legislation.
So, well, here's the thing. The next piece of legislation that came right after the dosage legislation was the legalization of marijuana.
Yep.
Except the original piece of legislation that the penal code charge tells you to reference shows it still is illegal. Not right now. It was changed because I brought this up. But I'm sitting there now thinking, as an officer, I have 2 conflicting pieces of legislation. One that technically is newer. However, how am I supposed to reference that when the penal code literally says, as listed in this?
Unfortunately, that's up to the justices to change and fix. And
I agree, but the pieces of legislation are written by the specific, offices of each.
Correct. No, I
so it's like we are going to run into issues of conflict probably fairly frequently. And there's, again, if we're going down the route of like everything for the most part has to explicitly be written, like we run into some very problematic pieces like hot gun charges. What piece of legislation allows us to do that? Because all it is possession of a gun. Who the fuck? How are we going to prove that person shot the gun 20 days ago?
Yeah. I got one for you. You want to arrest me right now?
You got what?
Here's a good charge. Arrest me. I'm breaking the law.
I wish I could reference that piece of legislation. Is it the recording shit?
No, I have a
okay,
camera.
good. Oh.
According to possession of PD equipment, any possession of a camera doesn't specify PD camera is illegal. I don't know if it was ever fixed after I brought that up.
Let me see.
Because I got asked by cops why I didn't photograph some stuff that I reported, and I'm like, well, it's illegal to have a camera.
Okay, so technically not. Because it does say it's illegal to possess any government owned or police issued equipment without being on duty.
So they did change it.
So yeah. Now I will say, when I've brought certain things up, like I haven't brought up the hot gun thing, but when I've brought up like the marijuana stuff, like that was resolved fairly quickly. But again, for me it goes back to the whole like, if we can't even figure that out to begin with, how are we gonna spread that information to a department of hundreds of people and expect them to reasonably know all of these changes?
No, just I understand your concern with that, because like I said, when I got back, I spent almost the entirety of that first week going through all of the legislation, literally reading through every single piece of legislation. And for someone with a memory like mine, I still have to go back and look at the fucking legislation because there's so goddamn much of it.
Yeah, do me a favor, pull up your MDT, go to legislation.
I can't.
Okay,
Yeah, we're waiting for.
Okay, well, let me try to put this into perspective for you. So right now, there is
roads pushing on wounds.
Right now, there is a piece of legislation called Common Law within the state of San Andreas, right? And it describes, the common laws that we reference. Tennessee v. Garner, Terry v. Ohio, Pennsylvania v. Mims, Wyoming, right? Like a bunch of these, right? Yep. But here's the reality: that piece of legislation alone is practically a copy and paste of what has been in the police SOPs for 7, 8, 9 years. Okay.
It was a part.
They've always been there.
Yeah, it's part of the old bar process too.
Yep. Yeah,
I still have the fucking documents for that.
Now, again, let me put this into perspective. Cadets who needed to pass their final exam needed to know this information, and oftentimes would fuck this up, right? Because it don't get me wrong, it's a lot of information, right? I get it. But the problematic thing is, this is a single piece of legislation. This piece of legislation was told to every cadet as like you need to fucking know this. Like, you absolutely need to know this. And they still couldn't do it consistently. Yet, that is now only a single piece of legislation. And there are tons of other pieces of legislation. Again, some only working in certain counties, and it's not good. I think it's a net negative for the entirety of the police department, for both departments, truthfully.